Welcome to this training video where we will set a worksheet to our students. In this video, I'm going to mostly focus on the options that are available to you as you go through and set a task. So from the dashboard, I'm going to go into my worksheets and then we're going to choose the task that we want to set. Now, if you've watched the training video on how we made this worksheet, it's worth pointing out that at the point that we saved the worksheet, we could have set a task there and then. You don't have to go back to the dashboard and find the worksheet. You can set it in one go. But now we're ready to set the task, and we're going to set it as a normal task, which means that it's online and the students can just complete the questions at their own pace. So firstly, who do we want to set the task for? So you'll see you can set it for a single class, you might want to set it for more than one class, or perhaps you want to set it for some individuals. Maybe they're going to have some intervention work or some extension work, or they've maybe missed some lessons. I'm just going to set it for my test class. The custom label says that it's optional, but this is actually the title of the homework as it appears on the student's dashboard. So I recommend giving this a name. If you do leave it blank, then the name of the homework will be the key skill codes to the students, which may or may not be particularly clear what their homework is. The due date, the default is to not have a due date, but if you uncheck that, then a due date option calendar appears and you can set it for a particular date and a particular time if you wish. The default is to set the homework immediately, but again, we have got the option there if you want to schedule it to appear on the student's dashboard at a particular time, then you can do that instead. Now I'm going to set it as a homework/classwork. This means that as the student works through each question, they'll get instant feedback as to whether they've got it correct or not. You can set these as assessments instead. The main difference being that the students won't know if they've got the questions right or wrong until the date that you've given the due date for. And the other main feature on an assessment is that the students can't redo any of the questions unless you reset the entire assessment to them. So I'm going to just stick with homework or classwork. Now on the right hand side, we've got lots of options that I'm now going to run through, and I just recommend that you try out the different options, get some feedback from your students, and also decide which ones you think are right for you and your setting. So the first option, you can say yes or no, whether you want to warn the student when they're wrong. So as they're completing their homework, they submit an incorrect answer, up pops a little message that says wink wink, and you may want to consider your answer. They will have one more attempt there and then to submit an answer that may be correct. So you can turn that on or off. Prevent reattempts, yes. So the default is to say that the students only get one go at the homework. You can change this to no, which means that the student can reattempt the homework as many times as they want to. Now, in this case, when it's a fixed worksheet and we've got the students all answering the same set of questions, let's say 20 questions, and if they get 3 questions incorrect, then when they go to reattempt, Dr. Frost will only take them to the 3 questions that they got incorrect. They won't have to answer all 20 questions again. A point that's worth stressing is that for questions when they do get the answers incorrect, the only feedback that will be given to the student is the word incorrect. There won't be any written method to help the student know what they should have done on that question, obviously because it's a fixed set of questions and they would know the answer. So it's worth deciding whether you want your students to be able to reattempt, with some pros and cons for you to weigh up there. Require working. So working refers to the side whiteboard that's available to the students as they're completing the task, and they can write their working down with a stylus or maybe even a trackpad. Now the default is to say no. You can say yes or you can choose optional. If there's any doubt that you think a student may write some working and you want to be able to look at that working, then I recommend that you say optional, because in that case, Dr. Frost will make sure that it's saving the working that the students write. Require feedback. Feedback refers to the text box that appears for the student when they submit an answer, and this gives them an opportunity to write a piece of written feedback to you that you can then respond to in the mark sheet. So you can say no, or you can choose always, or you can choose if incorrect. Note that if you choose always, a student must write some feedback. They can't skip it. Require videos. The default is to say no. Again, you can change that to yes. If you do require videos, then the videos that correspond to the key skills within your worksheet will appear for you to select. So you could select a couple of videos there. I would say it's worth looking at the runtime because the student must watch the full length of the video before the questions come up. They can't skip past these videos. So it's worth thinking about the total time that you expect the students to complete the homework in, and obviously just use your judgment as to how many videos you set. One thing for you to know that is if you say no, you're not required to watch any videos, then when the student starts the task, the videos will still pop up anyway, and it will say you may want to watch some of these videos before you start your task. So they'll still be supported with those videos available. And then furthermore, if they still skip past the videos, if they're stuck, the video option still appears as a link at the top of the screen, so they always have access to the videos, even if you don't require them at the start of the task. Time limit. You can choose a time limit that's appropriate for the age and stage of your students if you wish. The homework will just time out after this time finishes. Accuracy measure, you can see this is greyed out. In the case where your worksheet is made up of only exam questions, then the drop down will appear and it will give you an option to use exam marking instead. And you can use that option, which allows you to give method marks to your students as well. So they are the options when setting a fixed worksheet where the students are going to get the same questions, and we're now ready to set this as a task. Once you press set, it will take you to your mark book, and then as the students complete the homeworks, your mark sheet will populate.